This is part 3 of building a house in Africa. And I'm going to talk to you guys about this next phase of the process that was in November and December of 2020, and the process that I went through for finding a contractor and building the wall around my property. So check it out. Boom. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joannis or Joe Hotagua. I'm a Sierra Leonean American. And if you want to know what it's like to build a house in Africa, then this is the video for you. All right, so real quick, let's just recap what happened in part 1 and part 2. Part 1, I talked about the process of buying the house, having to evict the tenants, and deciding what we were going to do with the property, right? So that was part 1. Part 2, I went through what we had to do in the early parts of 2020, demolishing the boros, building the pambodi, and cutting down the dita tree. All very important parts, some of it sad and unfortunate, but it was absolutely necessary to get the process started for building the house. So that was part 1 and part 2. Part 3 is what we're on today. And what we're going to talk about was the process for building the wall and finding a contractor that was going to do it. So in the early stages, I made up my mind that whoever I worked with for building the wall, I'd likely want to have them work on building the house. So what I wanted to do as part of the process was interview different contractors on what their recommendations were. So we had 6 different people who either were contractors themselves or engineers, or they were independent contractors that worked with contractors that would walk us through what they thought the plan should be based on what I needed for the house and for the wall around the property. Now, luckily, my next door neighbor, as we started even approaching the property and doing some work on it, the next door neighbors decided to put up a wall right away. So we only had to build 3 sides to the wall because our next door neighbor on one side had already built the wall. So we didn't have to do 4 sides. We only had to do 3. So that was beneficial for a number of different reasons. 1, because it made it so that the price of the wall building was down a bit. And 2, we had a bit of an idea of where like our wall height needed to be, right? So, you know, what I did is I met with 6 different contractors. And so if you guys were following me on Instagram at the time, I would do my stories like every day, do a daily update. So I'm going to start putting some of that footage in here so you can actually see what the process was like. So with each of the contractors, they all had their own different ways of doing things. And what we wanted to do was go look at the other properties they had built, hear from them what their ideas are and why they did certain things the way they did, and just get an understanding of what was needed. And with all 6 of them, what we ended up getting was kind of an idea of how it should look and how it should work and how much it should cost. So we got all kinds of estimates. We got one estimate as low as $4,000 to build the wall. We got an estimate as high as $17,000 to build the wall around the property. Just take that into consideration. That range, right? 4,000, 17,000. Now, the more we talked to different folks, the more we understood why pricing was the way it was. So what you learn about some folks in Sierra Leone is that they will lowball you on a price because they want to win your business. And then once they have your business, throughout the lifetime of the work that they're doing, there's always new charges coming up. Oh, I didn't know that this was going to cost this. Oh, I didn't know that this was going to cost this. And what ends up happening is even though you think it's a $5,000 or $4,000 job, it ends up being $10,000, right? So that was something, especially once we got the price of materials. We're like, how can you build a wall this high with that little amount of materials, right? So they were eliminated immediately, the 4,000 guys. The 17,000 guys were very, very knowledgeable. However, they had done some very big commercial digs and commercial builds for like the big banks in outer regions. They were doing the bank branches, very, very nice properties, but they didn't own any of their own equipment. They rented equipment. So like a bulldozer or, you know, something you need to do the excavation, you know, you can rent those things, but it's basically like $1,000 a day for 3 days to do some excavation work for you, right? So we had to eliminate those guys because their cost of labor, the cost of the equipment, all the stuff that they said that was needed was around $17,000. And even after we cut out some of the costs, it still ended up being about $13,000 in total to get this thing built. So we got another guy who quoted us about $9,000. And so he was who we decided to go with, right? He wasn't priced too low. He wasn't priced too high. And he owned his own equipment. And at the time, we thought it was a benefit that he was a family friend. So we decided to go with him, and that's who we decided to select to start the process of building. And so this video, we're just going to focus on what the process was for deciding on which contractor we wanted to use, because I think in and of itself, there's a lot there to share. And so I'm going to start placing those videos here. And so you can watch those videos now. Check it out. What's up, guys? So here's an update from day 5. Went to the property again with my second contractor. We talked a lot about what needs to be done, what their recommendations for the work look like. What's up, guys? As you can see, the electricity has gone out. Just one of the challenges of living in Sierra Leone. But I did go by the property today. The third contractor that I had was really underprepared. Now, as you can see, this is the 4th site visit. We met with the 4th contractor and we were following up meeting with the first contractor. So this was on day 9 of that trip. On the next day, we had the 5th contractor site visit and then the 3rd contractor's 2nd site visit. So we were doing back-to-back meetings with different contractors on different days. Very, very busy times. Then again, on that following day, we had a site visit with the 5th contractor. And so then a few days later, I had a plan to visit with the 4th contractor, but the driver had malaria. And so we started the day late. So you can see it was 11:05 a.m. What's up, guys? It's been a little while since I've done like one of these end of the day updates. Just wanted to give you guys an end of the week update. Now that I've met with the last 3 different contractors, I'm going to take you back to this document so you can actually see what it looked like for me to make that decision from November 25th, 2020. So now, as you're looking at the document, you first see the first contractor, his price is pretty extensive, $12,300. You had another person at $6,100. Then as you scroll down, you see that there was the next contractor at $4,400. The next one was $7,000. The next one was at $8,280 with a 10% discount. And so that's who I decided to go with, was the guy who did the $8,280. The range was just so wildly different. Something felt a little off with the guy who was $12,000, and it felt just about right for the guy that was at $8,200 because he, of course, had all of his own materials to be able to handle everything. And he was giving me a bit of a discount, whatever, family discount, whatever you want to call it. So I felt this was probably the best option for me, considering the fact that, the prices are pretty broad ranging, right? You got as low as $4,000 all the way up to $12,000. And this is, by the way, for just 3 sides of the wall. And to be clear, that's how much I bought the property for, was $12,000. So imagine somebody was planning to charge me what I bought the property for just for the price of the wall, just doing 3 sides of a 4-sided wall. And so to me, it just didn't seem to make sense for me to spend that kind of money to be able to build the wall. So I decided to go with the guy that was charging $8,200 for the wall. And, for the most part, I was pretty happy with the wall. There was some shortcuts done and some work that could have been done a little bit better. But all in all, I think it was the right decision. All right. So this is a site visit with the contractor we actually ended up selecting. So we got a chance to go to one of the houses that he was working on. And this was a 4-story house where he built a whole second tower to this house. Basically, it ended up being like a hotel. So we walked through and looked at some of the apartments and just kind of get a feel for how his construction was done. We felt like, okay, there's some modern feel in here. We like what we're looking at. We would probably do something different with the beds and the drapes, but just overall, we kind of got a feel for the style and the layout of how the house would look. So we were just kind of walking through different bedrooms. We were walking through the kitchen and the dining room area and just, like I said, getting a feel for what it might look like to build our own house with terrace. What's up, guys? So as you saw, I made the decision today. We now have a contractor that's going to do the work at the property. I'm going to start work this weekend, actually. All right, cool. So now you can see what the process was like, right? When I was going through it in real time, how we decided which contractor to use. Now, guys, I have to tell you, one saying that I've heard, and I've heard it over and over again, who you start with is not who you finish with. I'm going to just tease it with that. Guys, on the next video, I'm going to walk you through the first stage when we first went to the property and we talked to this new contractor that we selected as to what we decided to do. I think it's going to be really interesting for you guys to kind of see what it looks like at the very beginning, the early stages, so you know what we're doing. And then from there, we'll go through the next stages in the process. So this was part 3. Part 4 is coming up. That's going to be the mini series on building the wall. And man, was that a process. I look forward to sharing that with you guys. So stay tuned for the next video. Until then, Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And I'll see you all in the next video. All right, guys, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, like, comment, and share it with your friends. All right, see you on the next video.